Welcome to this episode of Ink It Up with Jessica TV. I'm Jessica Taylor, and today I want to share with you one of my favorite card making techniques, the one-sheet wonder. It's where you take one sheet of pretty paper, cut it up, and make it into a stack of cards. So if you've been hoarding 12 by 12 pretty papers, this one is for you. Now let me take you inside my One Sheet Wonder Card Club for a sneak peek at how we make lots of cards with our pretty papers every month. Enjoy! Welcome to the October One Sheet Wonder Card Club. This is Jessica Taylor, and this month I have another 12 by 12 template for you. I know that lots of you have stacks and stacks of 12 by 12 pretty papers that you would like to use to make into cards. And this month I actually had planned on doing an 8.5 by 11, and I just was not inspired by any of my ideas to stamp my own paper. But I had a really good idea for some pattern paper that I had in 12 by 12, so I just went with that. Sometimes you have to go with what inspires you instead of what you're supposed to be doing. So here is the template for this month. Again, 12 by 12 paper, and we're going to start by making these cuts across the top. I've chosen to cut a piece of Blooms and Bliss paper for this video, and I can't wait to make cards with this. I think this is such a pretty paper. So I'm going to start by making a 5 1/4 inch cut. I'm just going to line that up at 5 1/4. And that's going to be my first strip. Next, I'm going to cut at 4 inches. And then finally, I'm going to cut at 2 1/4 inches. And that's going to leave me with a 1/2 inch strip. Don't worry, I have an idea for using that strip. Okay, so I'm just going to put that to the side. And then I'm going to turn this one and cut it at 2 1/4. So this is going to give me my D pieces, sorry. And I'm going to cut 3 of those at 2 1/4. So these are just squares that you can use as squares, or you will notice on my top one here, you can cut it from corner to corner and make 2 triangles. So this is my E piece once I've cut these 3 pieces. I'm going to leave 2 of these just like this. But I'm going to show you how to cut corner to corner. What you want to do is on your paper cutter, there's usually some kind of cutting line or groove here that will show you where your actual blade does the cutting. So you're going to want to line up 2 opposite corners in that groove. So you just want to make sure that your corners are right lined up with that groove. And then you're going to be really careful about holding it in place. It's kind of hard because this is a small piece, but I have faith in you. You can do it. The next thing you want to do is bring your blade up so that it's in the middle of your paper. And then you're going to put it down. Be very careful to hold your piece in place. And then you want to cut to the outside corner. If you cut down this way, you're going to crumple up your corners. So then lift up, come back into the middle of the paper, and then cut the opposite way. And that's going to give you 2 triangles that you can use together or separately. But I'll show you how I use them in a minute. Next, I'm going to come back to this middle piece that's 4 inches, and I'm going to cut it at 3 inches. So I'm going to do that. Let's see, I actually make 3 cuts so that I have 4 C pieces. These are all 3 by 4. This is one of my favorite sizes to work with. And actually, you can cut a full 12 by 12 sheet of paper into 12 of these pieces. I have a One Sheet Wonder template for that as well on my TV show site. Okay, so those are my C pieces. And then finally, back to this first strip, which is 5 1/4, I'm going to cut it at 4 inches twice. And that's going to give me 2 A pieces. This is a really nice size because it fits the front of a standard size card and kind of fills it up with decoration right off the bat. And then this last piece, I am going to cut into 2 pieces that are 2 inches wide each. You could keep this as another A piece, or you can cut your A pieces in half to make 2 B pieces. All right, so I cut flowery paper for you in this video, and I'll show you later what I make with these. But for my main card, someone in the group in September asked about masculine cards made with One Sheet Wonder templates. And so that was my inspiration for this set of cards. I chose a striped piece of paper from the By the Shore Designer Series paper pack and made, most of them are masculine, some of them could be for anybody. And a couple of them I used the back of the striped paper, and they have seashells on them. They're a little more girly, but you can use all one side of the paper, or you can use both sides of the paper. So here is my first A card. Again, you can see that this just fills up the front of the card nicely. And then I tried to use a lot of rectangles and squares instead of all circle and oval punches this time, because I know that you don't all have those, and I want to show you, you don't need special tools to make cards. So this, I just cut a rectangle, stamped happy birthday, stamped my swordfish, and I did color this in a little bit. I took my blender pen. This is stamped with Dapper Denim, and again, all the details for these cards are going to be in the card file. So you'll want to make sure that you download and look at that. All the card dimensions, supplies I used, that kind of thing. So I did color in with a blender pen and the soft sky blue color. And then I added, I don't think you can see it on the video, I added just a stripe on the top portion of the body. I added a stripe of the clear Wink of Stella glitter brush pen. So it's just a little shimmery. I don't like to add glitter to my manly cards, but a little shimmer on the top of a fish is totally realistic. So that's the first card. And then for the second A card, I just turned it on its side. Again, did a rectangle. And this cute little tree is, I can't remember the name of the set, but it's so cute. I'm looking for it in my stash. Again, it's in the card file. Here it is, Sprinkles of Life, it's called. And it coordinates with the tree punch. It's just so cute. So there's a cute friend card. The little bird in the tree. Okay, next the B pieces. I just put it on the bottom of the card for this one. Cut out a base, I think it's a rectangle, it's not square. Stamped happy birthday, and then added some balloons. I did punch them out with the balloon punch so that I could give them a little dimension and they would just stand out a little bit more. Also, because I used the Dapper Denim cardstock for the card base for almost all of these cards, I wanted to do a lighter insert. So all of these cards have an insert like this, very vanilla cardstock, cut 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, so it just layers nicely inside. And some of them I decorated up a little bit, some of them I just left blank because I wasn't sure what I wanted on the inside yet. So that's the first B piece. The second B piece, I turned the card on the side and just added a big thank you in the middle. These C pieces that are 3 by 4, these are so versatile, so many different things that you can do with them. So for this one, I just put it towards the bottom of the card front, added a strip of cardstock. I have tons and tons of cardstock strips that are 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch, and I hate to throw those away because they're great for this kind of thing. You could also use ribbon here. And then I did add a circle on this one, a little dinosaur in the middle, and then a couple dinosaurs on the inside. The second C piece is similar to this one, but I added this base vanilla piece, and this again is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I taped the striped paper onto that piece and then added this strip and stamped my birthday on. I actually kind of lay it all out and stamp first before I glue it together, because that way if I make a mistake I can always flip my cardstock around. And then added some balloons. This gold here, in the holiday catalog, there's a trio set of baker's twine, and one of the colors is gold. And I actually pulled it apart. It comes apart in single strands. I just pulled it apart to use as single strands for the balloon strings. For this C piece, again, these are the same size pieces. I gave it a frame and put it in the middle of the card, and then just kind of use a couple of different punches to make it pop out. I did sponge the edges of this circle to make it stand out a little more. I think there's something on the inside. No bones about it. You're great. I think that's so cute. And then my final C piece, this is where I used the back side of the striped paper. It has seashells on it. And I just framed it with a little Very Vanilla and put a Very Vanilla greeting in the center. Nothing too fancy. So this one I think is fun. This is where I used the D pieces that I cut into triangles. So you could use them even this close, but I decided to pull mine all the way apart. And don't they look bigger on the card than they look when you're holding them here? But I just put them in the 2 corners and then added my greeting in the center. for the balloon, to make it look a little more realistic, I used my chalk marker to draw a little line so it looks like the light is reflecting off of it. And I used a sponge to just sponge lightly along this edge in the same color. This is mint macaron. So I thought that was a fun card. And then for this D piece, I just left it as a square and layered it with some other squares. You could totally cut these squares. I did use the square layering framelits, but that's because I could not for the life of me cut a square and then stamp this in the center of it. It kept getting off center. So for me, it's just easier to stamp and then center my framelit around what I've stamped and cut it out. So just layer those up. And then I love this background. I used the Versamark ink pad to stamp dinosaurs on the background. And so what the Versamark is it's a clear ink. You can use it for embossing, but also whatever color cardstock you stamp it on, it's going to look that color. So it just looks a little lighter, leaves like a watermark. I just think that's so fun. Then for the final D piece, I switched over to use the shell side again and put a little border around it, and then did another square. This is the same size as this square, 2 1/4. And then added my greeting, tied some ribbon around. I just tie it all the way around the inside and add a knot. Here is my E piece. Now you'll notice the E piece is very similar to your B pieces. It's just a tiny bit wider, but also when you have a pattern with like an obvious direction, you'll notice that they the stripes on this one go the opposite direction. So not a big deal, and you can make whatever you want with it. But this one I added the Lovely as a tree. And to ink this up, I actually used the mint macaron ink pad to ink up the top of the tree. And then I grabbed a marker to color the brown on the bottom of the tree. And then just says happy birthday. I didn't stamp anything on the inside yet. Actually, this made me realize I don't really have anything birthday-wise to stamp on the inside of my cards. So obviously I need to buy a new stamp set. And then finally, this F piece, I made this Oh Happy Day card. I cut, again, this is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I just cut this so it would fit here. So 5 1/4 inches long, and put a strip on each side. I thought with the stripes, it kind of framed it. I just really liked it. Also, this is the same size as the strips we cut way back in the July 6x6 One Sheet Wonder template. So any way that you use the strip with that template, you can use with this one as well. So some of them we did, you know, kind of going across the card like this. So many different ways you can use that strip, so don't throw it away. So I hope that you enjoy this template, that you'll grab some of your 12 by 12 pretty papers and make some fabulous cards and share them with us in our group. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that little sneak peek into our One Sheet Wonder Card Club. Check below for how to download the template used in this video and for more information on how you can join us in our One Sheet Wonder Card Club. Happy stamping!